Hi there, welcome back to a new Sunday chatty video. I hope you're having a lovely weekend.
Yeah, and today's topic is DVC, or Disney Vacation Club, for those who wonder what DVC means.
We did a Q&A just a couple of weeks ago. We'll link that video down below if you missed it. And one question that keeps popping up, or one subject that keeps cropping up, is about DVC, Disney Vacation Club. So we thought we would talk about those questions, or answer those questions. Sorry, by the way, we're living on a building site. We're in a new build. Just in case you can hear the beeping, there's lots of diggers and things
moving around,
yeah, so we thought we would answer your questions, but we also wanted to tackle one question that we get asked all the time. Is DVC worth it? So we'll talk about that as well, how we feel from our perspective. So we'll talk about that and answer your questions as well today.
Yeah, so we're going to answer the questions, but we're just going to have a chat about it as well, because we kind of know what some of the questions are. So some of them are similar. So as we talk, it could be we're actually answering those as well. So thank you for all your questions, everybody. We'll hope we get to as many as we can. But we're not necessarily just directly going to be answering every individual one as we go. We may do, but it depends on how our chat goes, basically, doesn't it?
And don't forget to go over and follow us on Instagram, Ade and Lisa. And we've also got a new account, which is geared up more to the new business that we're now doing, which is Ade and Lisa Adventures. I'll leave the links down below. And please do subscribe to our channel here as well.
Yeah.
Right, I'll let you start yourself.
Basically, there seems to be, we've had quite numerous questions. Some actually about our experience of it, some actual questions about, well, can I afford it? I don't know, what's the best way should we talk about, first of all, how and who it's suitable for?
Okay.
Maybe angle towards that way?
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing, a lot of people do ask the questions. Is it, well, we're not going to answer that question you said there, but is working out, is it something for you? Now, I think fundamentally, if you enjoy staying on site,
on Disney,
I would say, or we would say, it's something that would definitely consider.
It depends. We were talking about it this morning.
Yeah.
And if you are somebody that loves staying at All Stars, or you love staying at Port Orleans, you have a particular hotel that you really like, if you love the value, if you love the moderates, then no, it wouldn't be suitable for you, because the Disney Vacation Club resorts are all deluxe resorts, so it wouldn't make sense for you to join.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that wants to stay off-site all the time, then no, it would be silly for you to join, because it would be a complete waste of money, because you wouldn't be wanting to stay at Disney.
Yeah.
Go on.
You just covered there, for example, it is staying at the deluxe resorts. Now, of course, if you haven't stayed at a deluxe resort, I think one of the best suggestions, if you are interested, and I know that seems quite extreme, is actually trying to experience staying on site, isn't it? Because first of all, we didn't actually really understand it, did we? Even when we stayed on site for the first time, it was something that was, right, we would like to stay on site. There was the Disney dining plan, nothing to do with DVC. We just had 5 or 6 nights at Beach Club. We just wanted to experience it. Was that almost once in a lifetime, staying on site, and we loved it.
That was 2017.
But for us, that was it. We're done on site. And it wasn't until the following year when we were back off-site again, because we have been off-site every single trip right up until that point. Not even one night. So, well, Universal there has been, isn't there?
We did Animal Kingdom as well as.
We were
gifted a stay, weren't we, with friends that were getting married.
But to be honest, we weren't really there. It was overnight. We checked in the afternoon,
it was for
and then
wedding.
There was a wedding. So the morning we were out. So we didn't really.
It was busy.
It wasn't like we'd actually experienced the actual stay at the resort itself.
Yeah.
So after that 2017, we thought, we loved it, didn't think anything more of it. Next year, we stayed off-site, and it was then we realised how much we missed actually being on-site. And I guess it was almost one thing kind of led to another, didn't it, really?
I don't want to talk too much about our experience of buying in that, because that was all in our previous video.
Exactly.
How we came to get into DVC. So I will leave the link to that video below. That's got all of our story in. But I agree with you. It was experiencing the on-site that made us then miss it when we went back the previous
That's
year.
what I'm saying. So if you never have stayed, stay first.
Yeah.
Because it could be you think, I love this. It could be you think, I don't know what people are really so excited about.
Because everyone's different at the end of the day.
Everyone has different expectations. Someone might just love one night somewhere. So great, that's brilliant.
But somebody might absolutely hate being on site where you are fully immersed, and for some people, they want their own space. Plus also, you might find that actually the thought of being a week in a hotel room when you're used to a villa is too claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got children. For us, being off-site was perfect when the kids were little, because come the evening when they went to bed, we had the lounge area, we had our own space. So we haven't experienced staying in a hotel room with little ones. So it's very personal, isn't it, as to what you want and what's right for you and your family.
And even our circumstances since joining DVC have actually changed. When we signed up, when we had our what do you call it, our meeting.
Oh, okay.
We obviously were still holidaying every couple of years. And
with two teenagers?
And it was basically, well, okay, we're going to holiday every couple of years. We generally do between 2 to 3 weeks. We sometimes might do a road trip, so we could be here. And it was worked out like, okay, well, this might be ideal for you, this kind of number of points, because that's another question that people often ask. How many points do I need? So for those of you who don't know, please check out the other video, but basically it's all done on points. The points don't change year after year, but there are various different times of the year which are basically the same with things like flights, hotels, which you would class as maybe peak and low peak. I'll keep it simple like that. There are various different ones throughout the year. So
like going Christmas time,
it's going to be more points.
Yeah, which is obvious,
So a lot of people say, how many points do I need? Well, it's a bit of an open-ended question, really. When we joined, you had to sign up with a minimum of 75 points, but now I think they've changed it to, is it 150?
I think so.
I think 150 points. And this is buying direct from Disney. We're not going to touch on resale here. This is purely because that is the experience we've had. So there is the resale side, but we are talking purely on Disney here. So they worked out about how many points we'd need, and then obviously kind of the cost of that. So as a rule of thumb, generally, I mean, for example, put it this way, we had a week in, where did we stay? The first week we went.
Oh, in Bay Lake with the kids.
Was that a one bed?
Yeah.
And how many points was that?
It was 196.
196 in a one bed for 1 week.
Yeah, but it had 2 bathrooms.
It had 2 bathrooms.
So staying in Disney, you imagine staying with 2 older teens in Disney and having a tiny little room, that would be quite hard going.
2 double beds next to each other.
Yeah, whereas this, it gave us the opportunity. We had our own bedroom, we had our own bathroom, they had a bed each in, plus we had the lounge, we had the dining room, we had a kitchen. Yeah, it just made it so much more comfortable. We couldn't have done that on site, or we could have done, but it would have been hard work.
Yeah.
Plus, it just meant we could do our own food, having the kitchen as well.
And there are various rooms. There's what they call a studio, a 1 bed, a 2 bed, and a 3 bed. So they do sleep from starting, like rooms are generally 1 to 5 people, and then right up to 3 beds you can have 11, 12 or however many people. So it's really difficult to say how many points. It all depends on what you're going to do. You could use 100 points in one night in one room, or more.
Or you could use 9 points
Yeah.
if you stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge off season.
Or even Boardwalk can be 10 points a night.
Yeah, so it really varies from where you want to stay to how many people you're staying with. Yeah. So somebody's asked, do we get discounts on annual passes and tickets? Yes, you do. Annual passes is a really good discount, actually, isn't it? When we first bought ours, they were $699, and to renew it was $619, but it's gone up each year, hasn't it? Is it now $899, I think, to renew?
Which still...
We've got the most basic. We don't have water parks. We don't have photos. We do add the photos on just for the one of us, but you do get, obviously, parking with that. The other thing is as well, we do get a slight discount for things like Mickey's Not So Scary and that, but we're talking $5. So And you also get discount on food. We used to get it on Quick Serve, but that not anymore.
Do you get merchandise as well?
Merchandise we get 20%.
20% off.
Sometimes
Yep.
there's offers, like when we went in October 2022, there was a month of 30% discount. And we get it on the table service restaurants as
Have
well.
even got it in the Disney store in London as well.
Yes, you should.
I did actually
I've done it online as well, actually.
I did ask and I say, is there DVC discount? And I got the discount in there. So, that side of things is pretty good. There are special events as well.
Yeah, for DVC.
Is it the Moonlight Magic?
Yeah.
Or am I talking about something else?
No,
There's various different things.
Yeah.
But you have to obviously be there. That makes sense. You have to be there and stay there, don't you? Whilst you actually can be eligible to book those.
And there's other things like when Tron first opened, we had the opportunity to ride it. We just happened to be staying on site at the time, so we were one of the first to trial it out. So there's other various bits and pieces as well, aren't there?
Yeah, so there are some sort of perks. Another question as well, can it be used in other parks?
Okay.
Yes, it can.
You mean as in
other parks? I
world?
mean, as in, for example, California, Disneyland Paris. I assume Tokyo and
I don't know,
but definitely California can.
They've got their own DVC
They've got their DVC
accommodation.
accommodation, and you can use it for Disneyland Paris, but it is very, very point heavy.
They don't have DVC
They
accommodation.
don't have DVC accommodation, so one night could cost you a lot of points just for a basic room.
Which wouldn't be worth it.
Which wouldn't be worth it. So yes, you can do. California is a little bit more themed. There is a DVC resort
They've
there.
got a new one as well.
Oh, is that the Pixar one?
Yeah, something
Because
like
that's
that.
just opened. Is that DVC as well?
I don't know, but I know that they've just started a whole new DVC thingy, wasn't there?
Yeah, so you can use it, but also the other advantage of DVC is as well, there are other places all over the world, and I've forgotten what they call them now.
RCI?
Is it RCI? And basically you can book, there are thousands across the world. We've got some in the UK, they're everywhere. And the idea behind these is that you can actually book them. You don't use your points, but you do get special rates.
Very special rates.
We've yet to try it, but we've found out from a lot of like the American either DVC members or the DVC cast members have actually said that generally you will get like a week's stay somewhere for like $100 or $200 or something like that.
We've never tried it.
We've never tried it.
So don't quote us on that.
But the one condition is you can only book it, is it 3 or 4 months in advance?
Something like that, yeah.
But on the site there's this massive list of all these different places, because we looked at it for some of our road trips. We didn't book it in the end, any of them, but there are those options there. So that's another kind of little perk, but we've never done that before.
Yeah. That also takes me to, with regards to people say, is it worth it? If you're very specific with where you want to stay, so like say you only want to stay in Animal Kingdom Lodge, unless you can get that as your home resort, which would be very tricky now because you would need to buy resale, you can't guarantee that you'd be able to stay there because you don't get first dibs on that when it comes to booking. And also as well with DVC, some of the questions that we were asked when we were joining was how flexible you are. If you're somebody that wants to book your travel last minute, that doesn't always work great with DVC, does it? Because it can get quite booked up certain times of the year.
Yeah, it can do, and certain hotels can, certain resorts.
More
For
popular
example,
than others.
if there is a festival on, which should I say probably seems to be like all year now, there seems to be one permanent festival at Epcot at the moment. But for example, Boardwalk and Beach Club can go very quickly.
The Poly's always a popular one.
Yep. So, and also the size of the resort as well can depend. So there are some of the resorts which you can not say be guaranteed to get somewhere, but you know they're quite big. Old Key West is a big resort. Saratoga Springs is a big resort.
Yeah.
So sometimes we've got in with the idea of having maybe 2 or 3 choices of thinking, well, okay, we'd quite like that, but if we can't get that, we might like to look at somewhere else.
You also need to be quite flexible with DVC. It could be that you're going over, you want to use your points for 2 weeks, but you might not be able to get 2 weeks all in the one row in the same place. That's why you see us resort hopping quite a bit, because we haven't been able to get all the accommodation together. So it might be we're 2 nights somewhere, 1 night somewhere else, and we do sort of swap and change, but that is always because we haven't been able to get just one place at one go.
But what's also quite nice about that is you do get to try different places.
That's
We've obviously
true.
stayed at more places than if we were to be creature of habit and say, no, let's just stay here. And we've enjoyed a lot of the places, and each of them have, if you watch our videos, each of them have like a something about them. Staying at Boardwalk's great because you can walk to Epcot.
That's true.
Staying at Riviera is great because it's
just amazing.
It's just there. Yeah.
We were talking actually the other day as well. We wouldn't be able to afford to stay in these places if it wasn't for DVC. We're paid up now, so we don't have any more payments. You do have yearly dues. I do want to add that, are they like maintenance, that type of thing?
It's the same because it's classed as would you class it as a leasehold? So if there's any repair works need to be done, you obviously have dues to pay. You do get obviously details of exactly what is being done. That's across all of the resorts.
Yeah.
And also the costs. And it's quite a lot of detail there as well. That's why sometimes some of the resorts which are, for example, on the beach, is it Vero Beach?
Yeah, Vero Beach is
their
higher.
dues can be a lot higher because obviously they're prone to the storms a lot more than the resorts inland.
And it also depends on how many more points. So the more points you have, the more dues you pay. They get paid in January every year, which is rubbish because it's right by Christmas. We've just paid ours and they were £1,200.
Yeah,
That's
so it's around about £100 a year. And I think that's about average.
£100 a month, you mean?
Oh, it's £100.
Yeah.
£100 a month, sorry, yeah.
But,
So
that's all we've got to pay now this year. And we've just booked 7 nights at Riviera with a preferred view. And that was it 145 points?
145 points.
But we are going, for the majority of that stay is August, which is a really pointy time to go. But we're going with family, so we didn't have a say in when we were going.
If we were going and it was us,
we would have waited a few days later and gone in September. It would have been almost half. Not quite half, but it would have been a lot less.
And that's the thing with DVC. If you're flexible, like Lisa was saying before, you can make your points work for you. So if we'd have gone a few days later, we could have probably got another...
Literally 5 days later,
we could have got maybe another 2 or 3 nights, if we wanted to.
More, probably.
Or more. Or if we stayed at somewhere else. Old Key West, I think, was about 103 points. I think
it was 80 something.
Was it 80 something, was it? For the same time. So,
but we wanted to be near the family.
Yeah, so that works. And just talking about cost, you said that we're all paid up, and I think I'll bring on to a question about, we do get asked, is how or can I afford it? I don't know how you plan your holidays or plan your saving or your budgeting, but for many years it's sometimes been, obviously it's never been easy.
No, we've always had to save hard.
But we've always saved hard, but we've always had a budget that we've been saving for every month.
Yeah.
So for example, we'd make sure...
Since about 2011 we've done
So we
that.
always make sure a certain amount goes aside every month for holidays. Now whether that be Florida holidays or road trips, whatever they may be, that goes to one side. And it was when we had our meeting, the DVC meeting, and we found out the cost, and then we found out what that would be, say, per month, because we didn't have the money to pay for that.
Not up front.
Not up front. So we realised that was actually less than what we would actually be saving anyway. And we realised, okay, that is just going towards...
With the term over 5 years.
Yeah, that is going towards DVC, but it would be paid off. But also, we're still able to go on holiday. We're still saving that money. So we'd budgeted for it. So we actually realised, well, we're already saving it. So you signed up, and I think some other people are a little bit wary in regards to the commitment. It is a big commitment.
It's a massive commitment.
And bearing in mind now, I think the points are well over $200 a point. And if you think of it's a minimum of 150 points, that's no small amount of money.
It was obviously less when we bought ours, and the exchange rate was
better as well.
Was about 1.75 a dollar, I think.
Yeah.
A pound. Yeah, it really worked in our favour, didn't it?
So when you actually sign up, it's actually really quite strange because you are buying property, but there are absolutely no credit checks done. You could just go there and say, yep, I'd like to do this. It has no mark on your credit check over here in the UK.
Gives you points straight away as
Gives
well.
you points straight away. And Disney do their own finance for it. Now be aware that Disney finance interest rates are very, very high. But a lot of people, and this is what even the DVC cast members chatted to us who were doing our meetings, were saying a lot of people in the UK will start with that, but then as soon as they get home, they might set up a loan and then pay off the Disney part, so you're obviously on a lot lower interest rate.
That's
which is what we did.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways, again, when we did ours, it was 2018, interest rates were very low.
Very low.
So kind of in some ways we did it at not a bad time.
We were also talking this morning, we were quite fortunate as well. It was the end of 2018, then not much later we had COVID, and so
we couldn't go on holiday.
We didn't go out. My business rocketed during COVID, didn't it? It did really well. So we just very quickly paid it off, actually. So we were really fortunate. So, and it was a really nice feeling not to have that monthly outgoing. And now we can just enjoy DVC for how many more years? 45 more years?
Well, it's 50 years when we signed up, 2018. I guess this is our into our 6th year.
Oh, wow.
So 44 more years. And if you consider, we have paid that. That money we've done that. So with us booking this Riviera trip, that hasn't cost us.
Apart from the dues of the year.
Apart from the dues, there's no cost there.
We've got discounted annual passes. The other thing I wanted to say, actually, you worked out the cost roughly if we'd have actually paid out of pocket for our Riviera room, didn't you?
Yeah, the Riviera room. I just simply went onto the Disney app. I've also looked. You can actually look at the rack rates as well. I can't remember the website, but if you Google rack rates for Disney resorts, or rack rates, and put the resort name in, it will tell you how much they are. But looking on just the Disney website to just get a quote online there, I think it was just around about for the Riviera £4,500.
That's a lot of money
for the 7 nights. Now, there's no way we would be paying that. Bearing in mind, we did Beach Club in 2017.
Yes.
How much was that?
With passes, that was with 2-week passes.
Yes.
That was 3,000.
But that was with passes for 4. And that would have been
That's
4
a
adults,
long time
wouldn't it?
ago,
Essentially,
though.
so yeah.
A lot more now. But that was the other thing we sat down and worked out. We really loved staying on site, and we worked out how much the holidays were costing, and we worked out the amount we paid for our DVC contract. It wasn't going to be that many years, and that's what it would have costed anyway, just to be staying off site. So it kind of made sense. Have you got any other questions on your thing?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I just put my phone away there.
Sorry, we've got 10 minutes left on our memory card.
There was something I was going to talk about that. I can't remember. Someone talks about use years.
Okay. I'll let you answer that. I'm clueless with it.
Now, for the people on here who are DVC members, correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically when your points renew. Our use year runs from September, because that was when we signed up.
Okay.
So it's kind of like when your point allowance gets used.
But our points expire the end of January, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, they do, don't they? Yeah. It's that can be sort of quite confused. Is it September or no? We have to bank them by September.
Yes.
You're right, actually.
And they expire in January.
Year for January, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, my mistake. So there are parts of it which can be a little bit confusing, but basically your use year is when you have to use your points by. Otherwise, you will lose them. Now, if you haven't used them in a year, you can actually bank them. But you have to bank them by the September, ready for January.
And then they roll over to the next year.
And they will then basically be put into the following year. Those points, if you don't use those points that year, you will lose them. So you can also borrow points from the year ahead. So
if you're wanting like a great big family trip, or you're wanting to stay somewhere really special, like one of the bungalows or something, you could use 3 years worth of points.
Yeah, it is all about kind of working the points, and it can work to your favour. It really can. Yeah. So I think we've covered in regards to can I afford it. We've also covered upon how it's paid. I think they're the kind of quite big ones. How many points you need is very, very difficult. We covered that at the start. I think it all depends on how long you think you're going to be staying on site and how often. If
you Google Disney Vacation Club points, you can actually have a look at how much, because the points are the same every year. They don't change, aren't they? So you can actually have a look if you've got a favourite resort. If you love Polly, you could then have a look at how much the points cost for what type of accommodation, and you could roughly work out then how many points you would need.
Questions about home resorts.
Okay.
Someone said at the moment, if you buy direct, can you only buy from the Grand Floridian and
Riviera, wasn't it?
Riviera at present. Now, we've spoken about resale, and we said we're not going to chat about it. Now, you buy direct from Disney, and they are, shall we call them, new contracts. I think Disney realised they were missing a bit of a trick, weren't they? Because when we signed up, you could also buy resale, which you can now, which is third parties, as such, nothing to do with Disney, but it is.
But we could only buy into Copper Creek.
We could only buy into Copper Creek because that was all that was selling as new contracts direct with Disney. What Disney do allow you to do now is they do allow to buy resale through them. So there are ways you can buy resale at other resorts through Disney. We have never done it, so we don't know how to do it, but ask the question, is this our only choice? I've heard that Disney sells resale, and ask that question. If that's something that interests you and you are after a particular resort you want as your home resort, just be aware though, sometimes the contracts can be different.
And shorter.
Yeah, shorter. Because that 50 years might be 15 years in, so
Somebody may have used that.
You might only have 35 years. It's one that someone is most likely would have sold back to Disney.
It's second hand at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, so check it, but also check the contracts, because also another interesting part is not many people are aware that Riviera. There's something about the contract to do with Riviera.
It's more restricted.
It's more restricted in regards to selling on and things like that. So
things.
Always check and ask questions about.
If you're a Riviera home, if you've got that as your home resort, leave us a comment down below, please.
I think Hannah is, isn't she?
Yeah, I know that. I think Stacey and David are as well.
Okay, yeah. There is something about it that's different to the other resorts. I know it's put some people off.
Yeah.
So don't just go in thinking Riviera is a fantastic resort, because
it
is, but there are some conditions in there as well.
And with resale as well, you don't get as many benefits.
Yeah, so you may not get the annual passes, I don't think.
Discount,
and the discount and things like that.
So yeah, just be aware.
So if direct with Disney, I think at the moment it is only Grand Floridian and Riviera at the moment. But then won't there poly ones come in at some point?
I think so.
And also there's the cabins that have gone on sale. Is it Fort Wilderness?
Oh, that's true.
The Fort Wilderness cabins. So again, just keep a look on the site. Always check out the DVC website. Let's just have a look, see what this is.
7 minutes to go.
What do you use to book your stays?
DisneyVacationClub.com.
Yeah, well, it's the website. It's not like we've got to call up.
No.
In actual fact,
It's really easy.
For Disney, it is really easy. We actually wanted to swap our stays from our home resort, which is Copper Creek, to Riviera. And we were actually out, weren't we? And I actually just went on my phone and did it at whatever time it was they were available, and I just changed it and modified it.
It's really easy.
It is really simple to do.
It's just like changing like a dining reservation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. And also keep checking back. Because if someone has cancelled a room, like we would have cancelled our Copper Creek, that then becomes available to somebody. So always keep checking. Don't feel, oh, that's gone, it's never going to be available. There is also a wait list as well. So you can actually request to go on a wait list, and they will let you know if that's there. Would you change your home resort if you could?
Oh, good question. I think I would actually. You look shocked. I love Copper Creek. But it's not my favourite. If I could change my home resort, I would probably change it to Boardwalk actually. It's not my favourite resort, but it's so convenient. And it's always booked up.
The only thing I was going to say about Copper Creek, Copper Creek is very popular.
It is very popular.
And it's difficult to get a room. And now, if it's your home resort, you can book from 11 months. If it's not your home resort, like we can only book Riviera at 7 months. So that's the other thing in regard to home resort.
But it's pointy. It's very point heavy.
It is.
Boardwalk is so low on points. It's an amazing location.
Yeah, it is a good location. But the thing I like about Copper Creek is the closeness to Magic Kingdom. That's a real plus for me. It's a lovely resort. You'd go Boardwalk. I'd stay at Copper Creek.
I like the low points and the location.
The low points are good actually. But Boardwalk is generally a bigger resort. So we have, apart from during festivals, I haven't actually seen anyone that is a home resort of Boardwalk, have they ever had problems at 11 months getting a room? If anyone's on here that is a DVC member at Boardwalk as their home resort, I'd be really interested to know that.
If ever we bought resale, I would want to buy at Boardwalk.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would. Oh, you said Dan asked you a question, didn't you? You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, why does Ade like Bay Lake so much? Who wouldn't?
Oh, we love Bay Lake. It's grown up Disney.
Have they stayed there yet? They haven't, have they?
No.
You need to stay there, Dan.
It's really nice.
Not only that,
the pool is always quiet.
Exactly.
And then you've got a really quick walk to Magic Kingdom. Just pop into the Contemporary. It's just really nice. It is a quiet resort. We love it there, don't we? And the rooms are really nice.
Someone also asked about, is it worth doing the DVC tour? Yes, it is. I think you do get a bit of an insight into what's what. There's no harm in going on
free
it because...
Free ice cream, free drinks.
I think also it's worth having somebody stop by some of the DVC kiosks because that for us was the changing factor, is we didn't actually understand how it worked until we just had well, we weren't even planning talking about it, and somebody actually just explained it, so that really did make a big difference.
Need to change the battery now. Right,
battery changed.
Last question.
So we started off by saying, is it worth it?
Yeah.
I think also I'd like to incorporate another question to that. What was our deciding factor? What made us say yes? So would you say it's worth it?
100%.
Yeah.
I've never regretted it.
It was one of the biggest decisions we made,
yeah.
and also in the shortest period.
I flew home feeling sick, thinking, will I regret this by the time we get home? We've never once regretted it.
No, it's been the best thing we've done, definitely in regards to holidays.
I feel very connected with Disney since we've done it as well.
Yeah, and also it's meant us that we're able just to stay at places we would never be able to. When I say never be able to, we probably would have never stayed the way we have.
We'd never stay at Riviera, we'd never stay at Copper Creek, we'd never stayed at Bay Lake, Dan.
How many times? 3?
But it's just changed the way we holiday. It's changed our relationship with Disney. We love it. We absolutely love it.
And what was the deciding factor? I mean, when was that moment we actually, because we were going back and forth that whole time.
We missed Disney when we weren't on site, but we knew to have the type of holidays that we enjoyed, having stayed at Beach Club, we wouldn't be able to afford that.
Yep.
And we just knew that going into DVC, it would change the way that we forever did Disney, and it did.
And I think now with our trips, even when it's been just the two of us doing them, I think it isn't just purely staying on site. I think our holidays are a mix of on and off site. And I think that's what works really well for us. So I think deciding factor, realisation, the fact that this is how we wanted to do our holidays.
Yeah.
Wasn't just being on Disney every single minute of the day, but it's having that ability to have 3 or 4 nights somewhere. It almost felt treat-like. It still does now.
Yeah, it does actually.
It feels like, especially if when we did the family holiday, we had 2 weeks in the villa, but we started off on site. So it was a mix. It felt like you had a holiday within a holiday.
I still feel, I mean, you've said, what is it? We're into our 6th year now. Every single time we're in a hotel room, I still can't believe that we're in there. The novelty hasn't worn off. It really hasn't. I just can't believe that's our hotel room, our hotel. We get to stay here.
And also, we were always a creature of habit, staying at the same place, the same time almost as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel this is actually...
It's changed everything.
We've kind of changed our approach, that we've had to say, well, okay, that's not available, but how about staying here?
Yeah, that's true.
And we've loved it. So definitely, yes, for us, 100%.
Us personally, yes.
If there's any other questions, if there's something we haven't answered or anything else, please leave the comments below. If it's something you're thinking about, be glad to hear what's your thoughts. Has this helped? No, thank you. Hope this has really answered a few of those questions.
And if you wanted to check out our other DVC, more kind of information, I'll leave the link to that video down below. Yeah. But thank you for watching.
And we've got a minute left on the video. That's good timing.
Which is still really long goodbye. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.